Greetings, greetings, sending you awesome positive vibrations. So I came on here for a chit chat, and I get questions from time to time from folks that also share in this fine Afro textured hair journey. So you're going to be fine in terms of maybe perhaps very thin and delicate as mine is. My hair is very delicate and prone to breakage, and or you may have fine crown of hair that also is low density, meaning you don't have as many strands of hair on your whole head. It's just there's not many follicles on the whole head. So this is Body Culinary. Welcome to the channel. If you've never been on the channel before, feel free. If you like any of the content here, if you find it valuable, feel free to subscribe. And if there's someone, maybe perhaps a woman or a friend in your family that feels perhaps challenged with having very fine Afro textured hair, then feel free to share the channel. Also today, I think is day 24 of 30 days of intentional relaxation, which is really simple, no religion, no gurus required. Relaxation on purpose and deep breathing for purposeful relaxation. So feel free to avail yourself of that. So this is just a chit chat, and I can share my experience. Maybe that will be helpful. Keeping in mind, all of us are extremely different in our hair journeys, and it's wonderful that we can make a positive use of the internet and peek into each other's kitchens and bathrooms, and we're able, especially during these very interesting times, we're able to share information and communicate via these screens. So I make the effort to make a positive use of the internet. So I've been out in the garden. I'm getting a little better about covering my hair because I actually don't really like to wear scarves. I'm a person that doesn't like scarves and hats and sunglasses. Really, maybe sometimes to be playful or fashionable, I'll put them on. But for the most part, I don't like a whole lot of extra stuff on my person. It makes me feel very closed in and kind of like claustrophobic. However, I'm in the garden a lot, and I just finished putting into some of the beds. There's also beginner gardening. I'd love to encourage people to start growing some type of food, something, anything, even if you're in a small apartment. So I just got through putting about 30 broccoli raws into the garden, and sometimes you'll scratch your head, or it's very hot and sweat will run into your face, and you'll to put your hands in your hair. So we don't want any germs or bacteria. And also, like the oregano bush, a lot of the seeds and the leaves, and the dust will have a tendency to get in the hair. Actually brings me to one, keeping your hair covered. Although I don't like things on my person, I've learned my lesson because there's been numerous times I've got whole bushes caught in my hair, and also seedlings and leaves and all kind. And I could have just washed my hair, and so much stuff gets caught in my hair. Now, I will say that being that I'm not using any oil, and I've done stints of oil, I've never put any chemicals in my locks, any dyes or anything, and I do avoid that because my hair is so fine and delicate. That's a setup. I don't really need to go through that experimentation. I'm not itching to put any chemicals or any dyes. If it goes gray when and if, so be it. I'm really with the radical self-acceptance over here. So I've learned my lesson and started covering my hair. So I found several cute scarves. I love fruits and vegetables. As you find a lot of on this channel. So I found several scarves. Usually I'll put like a silky scarf underneath because my hair is so fine, and because I don't have any oil. And the purpose of the oil is for my hair to be nice and light, which I think is a benefit for fine Afro textured hair. However, if I plan to keep it on any length of time, or to sleep with it, which I usually don't, I would be mindful to put a silky scarf underneath, because these are cotton, and the cotton can have a tendency to leak so-called moisture out of the hair. Some people say, I would say more so than moisture coming out, I would say the cotton can have a tendency to just dry out the hair. So with not having any products at all in my hair, I just gave my hair a nice cut, not in any random order, but anything that I was saving or holding on to experience the length. I just recently cut a nice bit off, and I actually got kind of scissor happy. So if you look here, I was getting real scissor happy, so I had to put the scissors down. So it was like maybe here, and I just cut it off. I don't know. Intuitively, I just felt like holding on to stuff. That's not really the vibe I'm in. So I cut, so still a good amount, and I got to see there wasn't a lot of buildup. And being in the garden, I noticed with oil, is even though it would feel good, I love the feeling of oil. I massage myself and putting oil on my hair, but it will attract dust like a magnet. And I find even though I don't have chemicals, that can still over time contribute to buildup. Especially, I think it's something that us folks with fine Afro textured hair want to be extremely mindful of. Now, if my hair was still in loose double strand twists, shea butter or a pomade, I think will be good, right, as a coating to protect the hair. But actually, it feeling light and fluffy, I think is a benefit, and also a deterrent from messing in your hair so much. And I retrained my slash hands to the feel of dry is good in the sense of it's not brittle dried out. It's just like a natural feeling of just like my shirt is dry, but it's not brittle. My hair it's dry in that it's not wet. But I know the feeling, I can distinguish the feel. Interesting. I'm always making analogies to the garden. Just like in the garden, I can feel when the dirt has a kind of moisture to it, but is dry. It's a big difference between that and soil that is so compact and dry, no air and water and moisture can even get through. It's like becomes almost like caked up like mud, right? And nothing can get into it. So the hair being light and fluffy, I can definitely attribute that to not having any oil in my hair. And I think it's just really a benefit for women that have concerns about hair that not, it may be thin or it just may be thin in the sense of it not being very dense. So a couple of things in this chit chat that I want to go over today. Maybe we'll have a chit chat on a regular basis. And this is I like incentives, incentivizing. So get my work done in the garden and then I can chit chat for a bit. So several things us with delicate hair, sometimes maybe looking all around to find ways to deal with our hair to get it to be thicker or because we can't change the amount of pulls on the head. We can't change the density. However, even as a loose natural, I know that, how can I say? I always strive to find hairstyles that complement my particular hair type. So, for example, with cornrows, as much as I love cornrows, my scalp being exposed for whatever reason, and I've gone to the best braiders, clean salon, not tight, my scalp being open, my hair will be profusely itching within like a day or two. And so there's something about, I think now I'm looking back and reflecting that it's my scalp being exposed. It feels dry and it just starts itching immediately. I also noticed that I don't have any kind of buildup in zero. I never had a problem with dandruff. Rare that I would see flaking, but I can definitely tell you this is the cleanest and the most breathable my scalp has ever been. So I realized it doesn't feel dry. My scalp does not feel dry and itchy. It just feels like normalized or very balanced skin. But my scalp, it feels like a relief that it can just breathe. It's like an open pore. So that is the benefit of not having the oil on it. And I would definitely have to say, although I don't care, I feel very restrictive in a whole bunch of stuff on my person, I do see a difference, a dramatic difference in the softness on my hair not being dried out when I tie it up at night, not with these things that are scarf, the cotton scarves. If I put like a silky scarf on, or I have some of these sleeves that I'll put on my hair that are not totally cotton. There's some that I've made because, I like to be creative. I've made some with a stretch, somewhat kind of like a lycra, but it has more slit in the fabric. And I noticed a distinct difference in my hair not drying out with covering my hair. So these are little pointers that might be helpful because, again, everyone is different. But when you have fine hair, if you want to experience length, I mean, I can cut this off. I feel very comfortable with very short hair, but I also want to experience the length, but I also want to experience healthy. And so it's at some point we just have to contend with trying things on for size, not following anybody per se, but seeing what resonates and to feel out here, just like you feel the plants, like what area of the garden, where does the broccoli do better at because it has more hours of sunlight, or if this plant needs more water. You learn your hair just like you'll learn your skin, what works and what doesn't work. And it's kind of like a moving target. Sometimes it can kind of move around. So I'm covering my hair with sleeves because I like them to look cute too. With sleeves that are kind of a little silky, that my hair fits fantastic. Again, this is especially should you endeavor on perhaps trying out not having any locks. Any locks? What is this, banana tree on my back? Or is that hair on my back? Or a bug? Should you endeavor on not having products in your hair, you may want to be mindful of the material that you're putting on your hair, because I do feel a big difference. I have to admit it. And if you don't, I'm not retwisting at all. So this is my hair's looking more like an afro, and got a little gray in there. So look at that, a little gray hair. She can stay right in there. So my hair is super clean. My scalp, look at that, it's clean. Nothing underneath my fingernails. It's absolutely nothing. There's nothing on my face, on my skin. My skin stays pretty clear. I used to have a lot of acne. Every now and then, too much nuts or something would give me like a little something, but it just clears right up. So this has been like a relief for me. Like I feel like I've been released from hair and skin jail. I can trust in my hair and my skin, but I'm not twisting anything up. So if you want to neaten your hair without gel and not give into the temptation to put stuff in it, because I think it will cause buildup, right? And I do like the light fluffiness of it. So I'm not retwisting, which is like a relief. I'm not twisting nada. Now, because the hair is fine and delicate, I have accepted I'm fine. All of my hair grows in flat, and I have to be very careful of the different types of hair baubles or things I'll use to pull my hair back. Even though this is my favorite hairstyle to keep hair off of my face when I'm exercising in the garden, I even have to be careful here because I have trained my hair to stay, how can you say, to stay in these two ponytails. So it looks like a natural. Whew, I can't stand when things get caught in my hair. That drives me crazy. And I can't see. See, me, I know me, I'll break it off or I'll cut it out. That makes stuff like that. This makes me crazy. All right, let me see. This is why I can't have a lot of stuff in my person, because I get like, I don't like that claustrophobic feeling. I can't get something off. Right, and I'll throw this away in 2 seconds, and which brings me to maybe I'll do a video on the types of the rare things that I use for my hair other than a scarf. So it's very fine, it's delicate, but it feels very normalized. It's super clean and light. So this might require retraining your eyes and your hands to what this feels like, should you endeavor on it. But I like the light fluffiness, and everything is growing in flat. Now, however, see, you gotta be careful with that, with the indentations, right? Because if it's flat, you don't want it squeezed in. And so I'll have to moisturize that. This is going in the garbage. I don't play that. And I just pulled out shit. Be very, very careful with the hair things. And I'm starting to think about and embrace how I can use my hair to tie my hair, because now it's getting to another point where just most things just don't work in my hair. Just using the hair to tie itself up. But in any event, it's all growing in flat. All of them. Every single one. So they're flat, almost like a pancake. However, the benefit of having a puffy, fluffy afro is that you don't see the scalp, right? And if you have fine hair, you know, if I was twisted, I'd probably quickly lose my hairline, right? Greetings. Yo, Wagwan. Yes, greetings from the garden. So I'm just sharing for those folks, those women might have fine hair. Sometimes you can be anxious. You don't know what the hair is going to look like when it grows out. So I was super happy the other day. Went from here to here, and I stopped myself at this one, right? Because I just wanted to see what was in the hair, and I'm so pleased that there was nothing in there because I'm not using any oil. So yeah, for all these videos that you know, there's so many videos about how to get rid of buildup, but I'm one of like, if I don't put it on, I don't have to get rid of it. So I like everything down to the simplest common denominator. I'm totally cool, and it feels nice and like a soft, feels like a soft um, carpet. It feels like a soft carpet. And so you can see that what I've cut, it seems blunt. Now I did have one sweater that I noticed within one day. This is something to be mindful of. One sweater that I looked like I had a whole bunch of lint in my hair, which usually I never get. So what they do say in these channels is true about being mindful of your sweaters and things you have on, because again, I think if you don't have any oil in your hair and it's dry per se, if you pick is already fine and delicate, you're going to create weak spots. So that's part of what a lot of cut off, because I used to wear so many beads and shells, and they look great when I first started, and it gave more hair time, but they really were very traumatic on my ends, because this delicate hair, it can't take a lot, right? So I've noticed more and more, it really literally wants to be left alone. Like it just does not want to be bothered. So in terms of neatening it after I wash it, I just really just tie, and I explain that in one of the videos on this channel. What I do instead of gel, or the temptation to use gel, is I'll spray with water and tie it down with a scarf. So that's it. That's the neatening. And also, because it's dry, sometimes it can almost make it seem like it's going a little straight. The little pieces that are here, I simply take it and I push it right in. So I love no maintenance. I love low to no maintenance, and I'm feeling intuitively, I prefer whole living foods as a lifestyle. So I like to put a lot of the foods. Yes, the food I'm eating, I put it on my face. I eat a lot of it, and then I'll take whatever I'm making, fruit or vegetable juice or whatever, and I'll put it on my face. So actually, I'm spending all that money for organic products. So I like to eat the foods or the nutrition and the fats and things, and as I move and get my movement practice on, I like to feel that that stuff is coming up through circulation. It's coming up and out of my pores and out of my scalp. So I eat a good amount of good fresh fats, like whole, from the whole avocado, the whole coconut. And all plants, fruits and vegetables have fat in them per se, to a greater or lesser degrees. So how can I gain weight? I mean, vegan diet. I'm ninatone, 24 years old. This bad? Oh, I think you mean stone. So you might be in Europe. That's a loaded question. So if for those folks that may not know, I'm a chef and a personal trainer. I've been in the industry for a few decades. And so there's so many different variables to putting on healthy weight, I think, or what I've observed with clients and family members that also consume, so that are consuming whole, fresh living foods for well over a decade, that exercise and the type of exercise makes a big difference in healthy weight, so that we're not just eating mindlessly, and sometimes putting on adipose tissue or fatty tissue for weight, right? You have water weight, you have muscle tissue weight, you have bone weight. So when you say weight, there's several things within weight. So I like to take the guesswork out and be very specific. What is my opinion on Florida? What do you mean about Florida? Do you mean the weather, or I've passed through Florida. I have some extended family members in Florida, but I don't know exactly what you mean about Florida. But any place where you live, I'm big on. I've traveled quite a bit. I've lived in a few places. I think it's really important for people to make the best of whatever situation you're in. There are many people trying to run to the tropics, many people in the tropical environments trying to run to the States. So there are trade-offs in all situations that you can go to. And I think humans, we have a tendency to think that everybody has it better. Oh, Jamaica and London. Okay. So if you're 20 years old, I don't know, you have to tell me. I don't remember exactly the stones, and I don't have my calculator here, but what that would be I don't have it memorized what stone is. One stone, how many equivalent pounds is that? And your body type and all of that. I think you want to be very careful about getting just really random information online because it doesn't speak to all the variables of your lifestyle. And basically, whatever you have right now is a result of what you have been doing, right? So if you're looking, your body is super duper intelligent. I say this a lot on this channel. Your body knows how to adjust and fall to a healthy and adjust itself to a healthy weight, right? So if it's not a healthy weight, right? If it has too much adipose or extra fatty tissue, that's going to really say several things. The quality or the lack of quality of the nutrition that you're putting into and what you're doing consistently, even if you've made changes in a couple of weeks, it speaks a lot to what you're doing consistently. It also speaks to how you're coping with stress, if you're under eating or overeating, particularly substances that are masquerading. I call them masquerading as food. And it speaks to the type of work, the demands you put in, safe work and appropriate work that you give your body. So your form, what you look like will follow your function. So if you're not asking and requesting the body to work, then we can't expect to have performance strength and also very toned muscles. If you're a male, I don't know if you're a male or female. If you're a male, you do have more testosterone. But even with males, imperceptibly over time, we lose our strength if we're not challenging the body, right? A lot of times we're riding off of youth. So I would recommend and advise, as I do most of my clients who make deposits, like people have a 401k or retirement plan, I like to say your health is your best beauty product, your number one beauty product. And I think it's your best health insurance, right? Because I'm still banking and reaping the benefits of the constant deposits of exercise and fitness and juicing for well over 3 decades that I've been doing. It's my good habits, give me wiggle room. And then also, as somebody that likes to eat and I've also trained classically as a chef, I don't crave junk food at all, which is amazing because I was a junk food junkie. Junkie. Greetings, Florida, the state. What kind of vibes did you get when you visited? I didn't stay long in Florida. And I would say if you're interested in moving somewhere, and I've moved quite a distance from where I was born, I would recommend you do your research online. There's so much research you can do online, and I would say visit the place because there's so many different things to take into consideration in moving, your age and what you'd like to do when you get there, and believe it or not, community. We may not consider it, but at some point we're going to want to interact with other people, even if it's just a small few people. Affect your health. So I would say really research. Even if I told you, oh, Florida was great, or where I am is so great, it would still be good to go visit a place so you can get a vibe for yourself. And keep in mind that visiting a place is different from living a place, right? Your eyes will be retrained to a whole nother perspective after the party's over, right? After your newness and tourism wears over, you'll learn a lot about the place and the inhabitants of that area. So hopefully that's helpful. So I don't know a whole lot about Florida. I haven't stayed there. I have extended family, but I couldn't tell you that much about Florida. But I can tell you, as someone that has moved before, downsizing is highly recommended if you're going to move anywhere, to visit people, see if you can create some kind of community network, and be prepared to pay your own way. It's nice if you have friends to stay somewhere, but also, look to see the areas where you would want to stay and live, and the rent and the schools and the trajectory for the neighborhood, the crime. Also, if you'll be comfortable, the amenities that are there, if there are any cultural classes. I usually look for where's the farmer's market and the food, and what's the art situation like. I like my capoeira and my African dance. So I'm very clear that I take my lifestyle with me, but I also like to see what is on the ground when it comes to food, and when it comes to if I will be able to, if there'll be some folks for me to dance or do capoeira with. Fortunately, with online, you can extend, and now people have gotten more used to communicating online. At some point, you're going to want to interact with some human beings. Do you have any social media? You're welcome. I just started a TikTok, and you know what? It is so much fun. I would have never thought I would have started a TikTok. Snapchat, I tried it, wasn't for me. Most social media is not for me. But I strive to make a positive use of the internet. On TikTok, let's see, I guess you would call it a channel, is Kwasa, KWASA, peaceful, FULL eating on TikTok, as well. Kwasa Peaceful Eating. And on Instagram, Body-Culinary. So body, and also culinary. It's in Culinary School. From Miami, Florida. It's busy. The weather is amazing. The only thing is the hurricane. Well, we have hurricane season over here. And this hurricane season was very intense. So not even 10 minutes away from me. There was extreme flooding. Many people lost their homes and their businesses. I mean, folks a few minutes away was in a canoe. So that's why I say it's there's a trade-off wherever you go. So there's amazing fruit, you know, things can be slower. Internet service can be different. I'm not a drinker or a smoker, or, you know, I've done a lot of my hardy, you know. So there's so many different things to take in consideration when you think of moving. Do you think plants and fruits have feelings? Yes, I do. I do. They don't have the same. They don't have, to my knowledge, a central nervous system like us, where they're bleeding and they're crying for their mother or father. You know, so I think, and I have resolved that there is a hierarchy of consumption, and if you go around to so many people, you can kind of get information overload. I make an effort to tap into my own onboard divine innate intelligence, but I do realize that I think all of us are deeply. I don't think there's any way we can not be affected by all of the conditioning. And let's just go back to here. It's a lifestyle, healthy lifestyle. I don't think there's any way we can get away from all the conditioning and the reasoning process that we have gotten from schools and religion. So, as someone that used to be a junk food junkie, was raised eating animal flesh and meats and things. There's a lot of diabetes, high blood pressure, morbid obesity in my family. I seek understanding, right? So from a place of, I have compassion for myself and others, and I think it's very important to slow down, right? If we think of all these plants, they're living, and when they're dried, they don't have any more water or water in them. It becomes so energetically. I think the plants are different when they are chopped and cut, and when we boil them, when we fry them. But also, I'm not the food police. I can share my personal experience, but I think it's very important, more than ever, but it's always been important for us to go inside to feel. I think our onboard intelligence can give us very clear instruction on. And I think it's very important to slow down and appreciate the food, to chew it slowly, to eat it with the living water pack, because the food is going to become whole, fresh, living, unprocessed foods are going to become a part of our body and our brains. I can't say this, there's no cholesterol in the plant kingdom and queendom. I can tell you my mouth does not salivate at the thought of a cadaver. I know there was a little gecko in my house, and there are geckos all over the place. They're cute little teeny lizards that are all over the place. And one was stinking. I was like, it's a distinct smell. It smells like a dead mouse when something is dead. And when I track scent, that distinct smell, and you know, it always made me think. Even many years ago, I used to think, how come the supermarket does not smell of rotting flesh? What do they have to do to all of these cadavers in order for it not to smell? So energetically, I'm also very sensitive to violence. So although I used to compete in fitness, and I was vegetarian, and then became vegan out of high school, there was a period where I decided to go into fitness competitions when somebody I really admired, like my god sister, was in fitness, and my son's dad started feeding him fish again. And I decided to go back into fish and then some poultry. And after years of competing successfully, blah, blah, blah. Just intuitively, I just did not want to eat animal flesh anymore. I just did not. I think it's a mentality, the way that we are consuming. I've lost over 200 pounds. I'm trying to continue, but I've been stuck where I am currently. I hate to stay stuck. Wow, you've lost over 200 pounds. That is absolutely amazing. Good for you. Good for you. That's absolutely wonderful. Good for you. When you say stuck, I think stuck in these labels and these terms, because a lot of times we're working with ourselves, sometimes by ourselves, right? And so I work with clients all the time, and I work with people that are underweight, bulimic, and quote unquote overweight. And overweight in the sense, I like to make distinctions of adipose tissue or fatty tissue. Quite often people don't make the distinction between water weight and also muscle weight and the flesh, right? And a lot of times we're focused on where our headspace is, right? And what we're putting into our mouths, oftentimes mindlessly, it's a mentality, if that makes sense, right? It's a mentality. So if I think what could be very helpful is to get feedback from your own onboard intelligence. And I found very helpful is cultivating, just like you can cultivate the soil in the garden. Like you might have some soil that's real, like, doesn't have a lot of nutrients. So you pull a lot of nutrients out. It doesn't give you like really good plants, or the plants are stunted. You can cultivate quiet, right? And I find there's so much clarity. There's extreme clarity that can come from quiet. There's also clarity that can come from suffering or perceived suffering, right? Or undesired long-term results. So for example, I had a lot of acne and dark spots. Cystic acne was no fun. Did not like it. I ripped up body and had a lot of acne, and that was like really torturous. Most of my ego, I felt very embarrassing. So that has made me actually very clear on what does not work for me. So perhaps also getting some feedback. Your own feedback, I think, is number one. And then perhaps feedback from someone you trust. I've always been big on coaches. I always have a coach in my back pocket. I've had yoga coaches, bodybuilding coaches, personal trainers, business coaches. I think there's a reason why even professionals and CEOs get coaches. It's not that what you're doing is not good or right. Like if I think of Olympic athletes, and I had a really wonderful, oh my God, I've had some of the best coaches on the planet, athletic coaches. And some people will say, as a personal trainer, why would you get a coach? Well, it's because coaches can help you see your blind spots. So why keep harping on the things that we're good at, right? If you're looking to get an Olympic athlete, for example, right? They constantly have a team of coaches throughout the season, and you're working really, extremely hard with a focus for one chance, right? Over 4 years to go to the Olympics. So when they constantly get coaches, and the coaches play the tapes back of their performances and their best games, if they're already at a high level of excellence, right? But they're looking to get to another level of excellence. So even someone that has inherent abilities, right? Or they might be really flexible, or they might be a good ball player. They want to find the best coaches to help them cultivate and go beyond that foundation, or perhaps even some things that they haven't developed yet. But I know I use coaches to get to another level of excellence and to help me with the blind spots, not to the things I already know. And there are also things like, say, for example, I know I work a lot with these ants over here, with clients with accountability tools, right? So the very human, as humans, we have egos, so we can't always see ourselves objectively. So if you have lost over 200 pounds, I think that is wonderful. I definitely have found a simple lifestyle can take away a lot of the distraction so that we can hear a lot of the guidance coming from in. So don't get me wrong, I like beautification. I can appreciate a full face of makeup. I love to play in my hair, but I also know there's so much for me to do, and I prioritize what is the most important. Not having to worry about my hair and having decided on something that works For me, I have the option to wear it very simple or to do quote unquote lock petals or whatever, pull it up or two ponytails or whatever. It gives me more time and energy to focus on other things that are more important. So, love one way. If you hate to be stuck, perhaps you can actually ask yourself, which I'm big on, right? So, in the morning, we're on day 24 of 30 days of relaxation. And after the relaxation, which is really just simple, deep breathing, right? During the quiet of the early mornings is a great time to write even a few words or a couple of sentences where you ask your own onboard divine innate intelligence a question. For example, like, right, and just get real quiet. And you'd be amazed at cultivating that as a practice, how you are internally directed to what exactly you need to do. I think it's absolutely amazing. I'm not a mookajuke kind of person, but it can be really helpful. Body, hi, Peter North here, old adult film star. Old adult film star. Adult film star. Great stream. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. Appreciate the positive vibrations. I think it's interesting that you would mention that you're an old adult film star. I don't know the significance of that, but if you have positive, respectful vibrations, then so be it. I don't know if this is coming up on your stream just because I'm live, but so be it. As long as it's positive and respectful. So anyway, back to this here, because that was the original chit chat, right? Veering off to other things, is that if you have very fine textured hair, we can be very concerned. Let's say, for example, if I find